Hello, I'm Ben. Welcome to the channel. So today I'm going to do a short video on the management zoo. I saw this, and I'll put this as the thumbnail on the video here. I saw this on LinkedIn, and I have a little bit of experience with just about all of these. So we'll run through them real quick. It says the management zoo, 10 dangerous personalities and what to do about them. So the first one it calls a hippo, and that's the highest paid person's opinion. And it says the leadership action is promote inclusive culture, value all opinions equally, and evaluate ideas based on merit. So here's what you run into there. A lot of times companies, the highest paid person is typically a sales role or a leadership role that is a local leadership consortium. So let's say they have divisions or they have regions. These people will be the leaders of those positions. So it might be a vice president that's over a division, and it's the highest paid person's opinion. And a lot of times that person is they ignore all the other input and they go by their own thoughts and process, which then suggests they're the ones that they're smarter than the rest of their team combined, which is ridiculous. So that's what that's talking about. And when it says promote an inclusive culture, that means you're actually being considerate of other people and you value the other opinions equally. If you're doing that, you're going to make the best decisions for you and your team and better be a servant leader to serve the team. So that first one is the highest paid person's opinion. I've seen that and lived through that as well. Next one is the dodo. It's dangerously outdated opinions. And it gives you leadership actions of promote continuous learning, highlight current trends in tech, and encourage professional development. Those three things should be leadership actions for any leadership team. The dangerously outdated opinions, I don't really think that exists much anymore. I think a lot of people are tech savvy. From Gen X forward, we grew up with tech. Gen X specifically started out without tech and pretty much has learn to run and operate it to this day. So I don't know if there's that much out there that's going to be outdated. So that's something to see. Next is the zebra, zero evidence, but really arrogant. Leadership actions against that is to promote evidence-based decisions, promote humility and learning, and foster adaptability in views. So I don't know why somebody would be comfortable in this world, real world, giving opinions that has zero evidence. It's becoming more and more prevalent, I guess, on social medias, but that's not the real world, okay? Most people that are in action roles or in leadership roles are going to have experience, and that experience is going to have taught them some things. So I don't know how often this will be out there, but I think it's interesting. The next is viper, a vindictive person endangering results. So the leadership actions to address toxic behaviors directly, establish behavior expectations, and use conflict resolution strategies. My thought is completely different from this. If I have somebody who's acting like that, I'm going to terminate them. Because if you keep a bad employee, and that's a bad employee, if you keep a bad employee, your good employees will leave. So if someone's vindictive and they're a person that's endangering results, they got to go. And it's very simple. You look at their performance, and they will give you enough reasons within their performance to either fire them because of an egregious situation or fire them because of repetitive actions that are negative. So you fire those as quickly as possible. Bad teammates being kept is going to run good teammates off, guaranteed. Next is the wolf working on the latest fire. Leadership action is to prioritize strategic planning, allocate time for reflection, and use the Eisenhower matrix. All right, so we live in a world where urgency sometimes is more relevant than first things first or doing what's right, okay? So if you have someone like that's in a leadership profile, that's dangerous because you're never going to really move forward. And you're going to see that the performance kind of is cyclical and it will stick to that cycle. I've seen this where someone has been in a position for a decade and literally the locations went through the same issues over and over and over again because this person led a certain way. So hopefully you won't run into that. But if you do, use strategic planning and stick to your boxes and do what is right. Do first things first. If people only respond to urgency, then what happens is everything becomes urgent. So that's the problem. And a leader like that lives in that world is going to treat you like everything is urgent. So your PTO, your time off, your time with your family, your nights and weekends, this person is going to be in your way all that time because they don't have any priority. So everything is urgent. So just remember that. If you have someone that's like that, that's working on the latest fire and jumps fire to fire, if you're not a firefighter, you shouldn't have that in your life. It's not part of what business should be. Next is the mouse. Muddled opinions usually swayed easily. So the leadership action action on that is build decision-making confidence, provide mentorship and support, and create leadership opportunities. I agree with the leadership piece, but I'll say this. People that act like that have not been able to fail forward, which means they may not feel safe at your company. The culture may not allow psychological safety for people to feel like if I fail, I'll still have my job. So that's something you need to look into from a leadership perspective. You want all your leaders to be servants. If they're servants, you need to give them the way to take care of their teams, and you need to talk about that often. So if you're not doing a one-on-one with your team that is leading up to this type of decision making, that's part of their leadership problem. You need to develop that person a little more strongly, which is why they say create leadership opportunities, because you need that person to fail some and you need that person to have some wins. And that is the only way to build someone's confidence in a leadership role. Next is Rhino, really here in name only. The leadership action there is understand the motivations, align individual and team goals, and foster connection to purpose. If you can let people know how their effort impacts the primary goal of the team, that's the best way to keep people motivated and engaged. So that's what you want to do there. You want to get them to the point that they foster a connection to the purpose and they understand the motivations on why we're doing this job. The next one says donkey, data only, no knowledge, expertise, or why. The leadership action there is to blend data with storytelling, connect data to business objectives, and teach strategic insight and integration. I have dealt with leaders that were just data. Those are great support people, but they're not people. So I would not let them lead teams or try to develop teams. But that data sometimes, and if they can hunt that out, that can be extremely valuable, extremely worthwhile. So those people may be better suited in a support type roles versus a leadership role where they only know the data. They need to understand how that data is represented at the bottom line from the boots on the ground in the trenches, right? Those people you need to take care of. And if the data suggests something needs to be done differently, then you need to think about the human component to that to make those data points actionable. The next thing is a seagull. It says senior exec that always glides in, unloads, and leaves loudly. Leadership action there is feedback on consistent presence, stress importance of mentorship, and urge constructive involvement. I have seen this before. There was one guy at a previous role that was known for going places and blessing people out, and that was his whole thing, and then he'd leave, and if the place did better, he'd take credit for it. If the place did wrong, he would blame the guy at there was no true leadership there. There was no leadership development there. Ultimately, he was terminated for inappropriate behavior, which is what happens to these people. But you may lose a ton of good employees in the meantime while these people are allowed to be around. So just know that. And the last one is petty, annoying, and ridiculously repeating others. Parrot. Petty, annoying, ridiculously repeating others. Here's the thing about people that are petty. Get them away from you, even in your lifestyle. If they're at work, that's one thing. But if you have petty people in your life, you will get no peace. You will have no time to recover from anything you're going through if you keep petty people around. Petty people make a big deal of everything. Why? Because they want to focus on the drama, not on the job. Okay? If you fire those people, you can actually have success doing the job. If you keep them around, there will be distractions for other people in the job that they're doing. So leadership action there is encourage original thought, reward innovation, and challenge with creative tasks. That's a great way to get people involved. And then when people have success there, you can mark that success and move them forward. Well, this is a short video on management, on the management zoo. I thought it was a cute little picture there, and those things do really relate to modern workforces. If you like stuff like this, please subscribe. I'm Ben. Be good.